Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Comedy Store. They told me I couldn't make comedy great again, but look at me now.
And I'm Joe, folks. It's great to be here tonight. Donald, you know, I was worried I wouldn't find the place, but here I am and ready to, make you laugh.
Joe, I'm surprised you remembered the address. Folks, give it up for Joe. He found his way to the stage all by himself.
Well, Donald, at least I know when to leave the stage. Remember, it's all about timing, like knowing when your time's up.
Speaking of timing, Joe, how's your sleep schedule? Heard you're quite the napper. Must be nice to rest while the country runs itself, huh?
You know, Donald, I do enjoy a good nap, but at least I dream of a better America, not just tweets at 3 a.m.
Oh, Joe, I don't just dream of a better America. I made America great. And my tweets, they're like fine art, tremendous art, the best.
Fine art, huh? I guess we all appreciate a good doodle now and then. But let's talk about something we can both agree on. How great it is to be here making folks laugh tonight.
Speaking of families, Joe, how's Hunter doing? Still painting those masterpieces? I might buy one just to help the kid out.
Well, Donald, Hunter's doing just fine. Better than some of your ventures, I'd say. Ever thought of taking up painting yourself? Might be a good fallback.
Me? I don't need a fallback, Joe. I've built empires. Remember Trump Tower? Now that's art. Real estate is my canvas.
Empires, huh? Well, I believe in building bridges, not just towers. And speaking of family, yours seems to enjoy politics quite a bit. Planning to start a dynasty?
Joe, you know, a Trump dynasty doesn't sound too bad. We've got the looks, the brains, and the best hair. Can't say the same for some folks.
Hair, you say? Well, at least I still have some to run my fingers through. And about dynasties, let's just say America decides on that.
Oh, they've decided, Joe. They decided on greatness. But enough about us. Let's not forget we're here to make these fine people laugh tonight.
Right you are, Donald. It's all in good fun. And folks, remember, no matter what, we're all family here in this great country of ours.
Let me tell you, Joe, my 4 years were the best. I made America great again. The best, believe me.
Well, Donald, I think my term is focused on healing and bringing the country together, you know?
Healing? I was the one fixing things, and the economy through the roof. Your healing is putting people to sleep, Joe.
Now, Donald, that's not fair. We've been working hard to address the pandemic and improve international relations.
International relations? I was tough on China, tough on North Korea. You're just giving it all away. America first, Joe, always.
I believe in America's place in the world, too, but we can't do it alone. We need allies, Donald. Cooperation is key.
Allies? More like letting them take advantage of us. I wasn't having any of that. No, sir.
It's all about finding a balance, Donald, and about family. We both know how important that is, right?
Family is important. I'll give you that, Joe. But so is strength. Strength and leadership.
Strength, yes, but also empathy and understanding. That's what makes a true leader, Donald.
So, Joe, I heard you're trying to handle Russia. You need a map to find it, or you got that covered?
Well, Donald, I might forget the map, but at least I remember the importance of allies.
Allies,
you know?
schmollies. I had a great relationship with everyone. So great, the best. Even talked to Putin without a map. Can you believe it?
I can believe a lot of things, Donald, like how you somehow think your hair looks good. But yeah, talking to people.
Joe, my hair's an international treasure. And talking about looks, how's that jogging thing working out for you?
Better than your golf, I'd reckon. Keeps me young. Speaking of young, how's Twitter treating you these days?
Twitter? Oh, they miss me. They miss me so much. It's sad. Really sad. I'm thinking of starting my own. Call it Trumpet. Big, loud, and impossible to ignore.
Trumpet, huh? Well, just make sure it doesn't blow too hard. We don't want another storming of anything, do we?
Joe, when I blow the trumpet, people listen. They listen because they know it's going to be huge. Huge, Joe. Like the crowds at my inauguration.
Yeah, huge crowds, just like the ones that didn't show up for your second term, right?
Low blow, Joe. But that's okay. I remember everything, especially the victories. And the people love me. They really do. Love me for making America great again.
And I respect that, Donald. Really, I do. But let's focus on making America kind again. Together, maybe?
Kind, great. Why not both? But let me tell you, Joe, it's going to be under my terms because, you know, I have the best terms, the best.
Well, as long as it's for America, I guess we can find some common ground. Just don't forget where you put it, okay?
You know, Joe, what really gets me going is a woman with a sense of humor. Someone who can take a joke, maybe even throw a few jabs back. It's all in good fun, right?
Yeah, Donald, I see your point. For me, it's all about kindness, you know? A woman with a big heart, always ready to help others. That's what's truly attractive.
Kindness is good, sure. But let's not forget about body and style, Joe. A woman who knows how to dress, who's got that flair, makes a big, big difference. Huge, actually, just like boobs.
Oh, certainly style matters, but what really pulls me in is intelligence. A smart woman, someone you can have deep conversations with, even if I forget where they're going sometimes.
Intelligence, yes, very important, but a woman who's not afraid to speak her mind, that's key. Not just nodding along, but really speaking up.
Absolutely, Donald. And patience, someone with the patience to deal with me when I'm, a bit all over the place.
Patience is a virtue, they say. But hey, let's not forget about a good hairdo. I appreciate a well-kept appearance.
Sure, Donald, hair is important. But at the end of the day, it's all about the connection, right? Feeling that spark.
The spark. Absolutely, Joe. The spark is what it's all about. Without that, you got nothing.
Yes, and sharing those little moments, it's the small things that really
Couldn't
add
agree
up.
more, Joe. The small things, and ideally also some bigger thing, they make the big picture. But remember, always keep it fun. Life's too short to take everything so seriously. Right, Stormy?
Right, Donald, keeping it fun, that's the key. And always being there for each other through thick and thin.
Let's get one thing straight, Joe. Affairs, they're a gray zone for me, not like the landing strip, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Donald, I couldn't agree more. It's about commitment, keeping that promise. I mean, why mess up a good thing if you
Sure,
got it?
Joe, it's all about loyalty. Huge, actually. But sometimes folks just can't help themselves.
It's really sad, actually, when people can't see what they have right in front of
Sad,
them.
yes, but also let's not pretend. Attractive women everywhere. It's a test of willpower, really.
A test, sure, Donald, but at the end of the day, it's about respecting your partner and those vows.
Respect, absolutely, Joe. The most important part, that's what I have such a hot wife. Without that, you've got nothing. Zero.
Yes, and it's about setting an example, too, especially in our positions.
An example, right? Leading by, how do you say example? That's key. Huge responsibility, and some good arm candy certainly helps with that. It commands respect.
Absolutely, Donald. We've got to show that loyalty and integrity matter more than anything.
So, Joe, I've been thinking it's kind of funny how we're not each other's favorite politicians, huh?
Yeah, Donald, you could say that. We've had our
Moments? Oh, Joe, let's call it what it is. We've had battles, but got to admit, making jokes about it, it's kind of fun, right?
Well, I suppose there's some humor in everything, even in our disagreements.
Disagreements? Joe, when you talk, sometimes I don't know whether to laugh or to, prepare for a nap.
That's pretty funny, Donald, but at least when I talk, people don't wonder if they're
Hey,
watching
comedy's
a comedy
great.
show.
Makes America laugh again, right? Speaking of, did you hear the one about the politician who was so forgetful he lost an election he didn't even know he was in?
Huh, I think I've heard that one before. But speaking of hair, did you hear about the politician whose hair was so confusing it got its own Twitter account?
Oh, Joe, you got me there, but let's be real. My hair, it's fantastic. Everybody says so. Best hair in politics.
Sure, Donald, whatever you say, but at the end of the day, it's all in good fun.
Absolutely, Joe. We might throw jabs, but it's all part of the show. America's got to stay entertained, right?
Right, Donald. Keeping America entertained and on its toes. That's something we can agree
Joe,
on.
speaking of keeping America entertained, how about we talk about Hillary and those emails? Now, that was some show.
Donald, I think America has moved on from that. But sure, let's keep the jokes light.
Light, Joe, like the way CNN lights up every time they mention my name. Talk about free publicity.
Well, Donald, at least when they mention you, it's never dull. Can't say the same for the New York Times, though.
Oh, the New York Times. You mean the failing New York Times? My tweets were more accurate than their reporting.
Donald, you and your tweets. But speaking of tweets, Barack still has more followers. How's that for
Size? Joe, it's not about the size, it's about the impact. And nobody makes an impact like I do.
Impact, huh? Well, I suppose that's one way to describe it, but let's not forget about John McCain, a real
McCain,
American
yes,
hero.
a hero, but let's not get too serious, Joe. This is about fun, remember? Speaking of, did you hear about Mitt Romney? Tried so hard to fit in, he almost became a Democrat.
Oh, Donald, that's quite the joke, but yes, let's keep this light. America could use a good laugh these days.
Joe, did you catch NBC the other night? Talk about fake news, right? Almost as fake as Meryl Streep's acting in those liberal Hollywood hits.
Oh, Donald, I think Meryl's a fantastic actress, but NBC does have its moments.
Fantastic? Joe, the only thing fantastic is how LeBron James dunks. Speaking of, I could have gone pro if I wanted to. Politics just called my name louder.
That's quite the claim, Donald. LeBron is in a league of his own, though.
True,
Literally.
true, but let's not forget Rosie O'Donnell. Now there's a league I wouldn't mind competing in, the league of who can annoy Donald the most.
Donald, you and Rosie have quite the history, but speaking of annoyances, the WHO has been on my case lately. Can't catch a break.
Who? More like the World Hysteria Organization, am I right? But let's not get started on the leaders of Iran. Talk about a real headache.
Well, Donald, dealing with Iran is complicated, but it's part of the job. And China, that's another big piece of the puzzle.
China? Oh, Joe, let me tell you about China. If I were in charge, things would be different, very different, great even.
Donald, your ideas on China are certainly unique, but at the end of the day, it's all about finding common ground, right?
Common ground? Joe, when it comes to China, the only common ground is that we both stand on Earth, and even that's up for debate with them. You know, Joe, I was thinking, with all this talk about Mars and Elon Musk, maybe we should send a robot up there, call it Grok or something. Sounds tough, doesn't it?
Yeah, Donald, that's quite an idea, but you know, sending a robot to Mars isn't that simple. Elon's been working on it quite hard.
Hard work, sure, but think about it, Joe. Grok could be the first Republican on Mars, less woke than the rest, I'd bet.
Oh, Donald, you and your jokes. But honestly, focusing on Earth might be more our speed, don't you think?
Focus on Earth, Joe. We're businessmen. We expand, we conquer. Mars is just real estate waiting to be developed. Imagine the golf courses.
Golf courses on Mars, huh? Might be a bit hard to play in those spacesuits. And the low gravity.
Details, Joe, details. That's what engineers are for. You and I were the big picture guys. Plus, think about it. No Democrats up there.
Ha ha, Donald, always the optimist. But let's not forget about Earth. We've got plenty of work here for everyone.
Work on Earth, sure, but a man can dream, Joe. A man can dream. Plus, my hair would look fantastic in zero gravity.
Your hair, Donald? I think your hair is just fine the way it is, but dreaming is good, keeps the mind sharp.
And speaking of jobs, Joe, imagine if we had robots doing all our work. I mean, who needs Democrats then, right?
Donald, robots taking jobs, that's a serious concern. We need to think about the people.
Oh, come on, Joe. It was a joke. But seriously, a robot could never match this.
Yeah, your hair is something else, Donald, but robots, they could never replace the human touch, you know?
Human touch, sure, but imagine a robot president, efficient, no sleep, all work, though it'd probably be a Democrat, too much logic.
Oh, Donald, always with the jokes, but remember, it's empathy and compassion that make a good leader, not just efficiency.
Empathy, efficiency, all good points, Joe, but at the end of the day, it's about making America great, and my hair can't forget the hair.
Of course, your hair, Donald, how could anyone forget? But let's focus on bringing people together, not just robots.
Well, Joe is still standing. Thanks for not falling over on stage. I thought you might have been on the floor by now.
Donald, you know I never forget a good debate. Thanks to everyone for being here.
Debate? I thought this was a comedy show. I mean, with you trying to remember your points, it's hard not to laugh.
Well, Donald, we all have our moments, but let's focus on what matters, the American people.
American people, absolutely. They deserve the best, not someone who pauses more than a broken record.
Now, Donald, we've got to be civil. It's about showing respect even when we disagree,
Respect?
right?
I'll show respect when I see something respectable. Until then, I'll keep speaking my mind.
Speaking of mind, let's not forget to thank our audience. They're the reason we're here.
Right. Thanks to everyone who could make sense of what Joe was trying to say tonight.
And thank you for tolerating Donald's jokes. We appreciate you all.
So, Joe, how about we wrap this up with a final statement to the audience? Make it quick. We wouldn't want you to forget your point halfway through.
Sure, Donald. I just want to say it's been a pleasure discussing our visions for America, stammering or not.
Visions, huh? If only we could see them as clearly as you see. What was it again you were talking about?
Very funny, Donald. But seriously, folks, thank you for your patience and for listening to us bicker like an old married couple.
Old, speak for yourself, Joe. I'm as sharp and vibrant as ever. Just look at this crowd. They love me.
They sure do, Donald. And they love me, too, because unlike you, I know the value of a good pause.
A good pause? More like a good nap. But okay, let's give the people what they want. More of me. Less of Sleepy Joe here.
Let's just agree to disagree, Donald, and thank our audience one more time for sticking with us through this lively debate.
Lively, that's one way to put it. Thank you, everyone. Remember, no one makes America great again like I do.
And remember, it's about unity and moving forward together. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of this conversation.